Hi guys, it's Esther from BBC Good Food. I hope everyone's doing well on this another Monday lockdown that we've got going on here. So we do this every day, as you know. Every day at 12:30 we talk about a different subject. So today, if you've got any nice questions about quick lunches from home, do throw them over, and we are going to be joined by Barney today. Barney Desmasseri is going to join us. We're just waiting for him now. I'm going to talk a little bit very quickly about our Facebook page. So we've got a Facebook page called BBC Good Food Get Together, which you can join, and you can share your pictures of any cooking, which is an amazing thing. Barney is just joining us right now. We're just waiting for him. Hi,
Barney. Hi, Esther. How are you doing?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
I was just talking about our BBC Good Food Together page on Facebook.
I absolutely love it. I mean, it's brilliant. It's such a good community of people, isn't it?
It's so good. I love seeing what everyone's cooking. And if you're not on Facebook and you're just on Instagram, if you just stay home, get cooking, we can also see all your pictures through that as well, which is really lovely and really nice to see.
Yeah, it's really, really good. It's an incredible space. It's where people are going on there to just tell each other what they've got left over. Everyone seems to be helping each other out rather than kind of just coming to us.
Yeah, really nice.
Can you hear me properly?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Right then, we're good. I think we're all set.
Just position myself properly. So we've got kind of questions today about quick lunches, working from home lunches, which is a really nice kind of subject to talk about. And people were saying, first question, anything that's not a sandwich?
Oh, anything that's not a sandwich. Noodles, I think, are really good. So rather than doing like a pot noodle, you can do your own version, can't you? If you get those really thin noodles, you literally need to pour some boiling water over. I mean, you're a massive noodle fan, aren't you?
I love them.
I mean, I basically recreate a pot noodle, but with nicer ingredients myself by putting lots of stuff and dried noodles into a jug, pouring boiling water over it, and putting some coriander, some spring onions, some whatever I've got in the fridge through it. If you finally slice some onions, some frozen peas, and you end up with your own sort of noodle dish.
I love that. Yeah, it's really easy to just kind of like pep up some noodles really well. Like if you just do, sometimes I even do like soy marinated eggs, which is so easy to make. Just kind of a soft boiled egg marinated in soy sauce overnight. That's really nice. Some sesame seeds, spring onion, very finely sliced radish, whatever you've kind of got in the fridge, really. Nice kind of fresh herbs if you've got.
I also think lunches are a great place to use leftovers.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. It's not good, is it? Lunches are a great place to use leftovers.
So, lunches, leftovers. Well, I think great that we're on Monday and talking about that. I don't know if anyone's got any leftovers from their Sunday lunch. We've been talking quite a lot about leftovers actually, and like roast chicken comes up a lot, roast beef and things like that. So if you've got any nice roast chicken that you can shred and put in a salad, that's really nice. Roast beef, even if that's finely sliced, and toss through a salad, that's really lovely. What would you recommend?
Yeah, that's really nice. I'll tell you what have you got earmarked for lunch? I am having, you know, talking of leftovers, I've got some mash from a couple of days ago, and I've got some cooked salmon from tomorrow, so I think I'm going to have fish cakes.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. That's really nice. I'm having mackerel pate, smoked mackerel pate.
Very nice. Now, we had a question before, didn't we? How do we make a quick gravy for sausages? Now, I've got a great one for this. Where was the question? Let me get it up here. Anything but sandwiches, quick lunches. How do I make an easy sausage gravy, please? Right then, so what you do is you finely slice some onions, fry off your sausages in a pan, then you take the sausages out the pan, put the onions on the bottom of the pan with all the sticky bits of sausage juice that you've got, then you lay the sausages on top. Put the whole thing in a really hot oven, and they all roast together, and then the onions end up caramelizing in all the delicious juices that the sausage give off. Take the sausages out, keep them warm, then a teaspoon of flour if you want in with the onions. It's up to you. If you've got some wine knocking around, you put some wine in there. If not, don't worry. Then just some stock, and you've got a really easy one-pan onion gravy.
Oh,
mushrooms through that. Mushrooms are really nice. You've got some thyme. You can put some thyme through there. That's really nice as well.
Lovely, really nice. Someone's saying they've got a really big bag of salted cashews
left
And Christmas, yum.
Lucky them.
What's that?
Oh, chicken and cashew nuts. That's one of my favourite things. In fact, I rarely do a stir fry without cashews. I feel like rice dishes are missing unless I put cashew nuts in them. Also, really nice in salads. Salted cashews are fantastic, but my absolute go-to is chicken, whether it's thigh or whether it's leftover or whether it's breast, which you just marinate in a bit of soy sauce and a bit of ginger and a bit of garlic, and then you coat it in a bit of corn flour, wok fry it, out it comes, a splash of stock and the cashew nuts, and then some long spring onions, and you've got a delicious chicken and cashew nut dish. Yeah.
Cashews lend themselves so well to kind of any Asian dishes. Like I always love a rice salad, a really nice rice salad with loads of ginger and cashew nuts. That's always quite nice, I think.
Yeah.
Bulks things out as well. What's a quick and easy meal with prawns? So I suppose lunches, dinners.
Yeah.
I like to do like an okonomiyaki type thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Like a slice with cabbage and things like that. Or just really
I
simply
do prawns ever so simply. Yeah. I'm really lovely with pasta, so I just do prawns with spaghetti, garlic, chili, and good olive oil. That's all you need. If you want to, a splash of white wine. If you've got some cherry tomatoes going soft in the back of the fridge, we always seem to have cherry tomatoes that are past their best. Great place to throw those in as well. Cook them right down. That's a really lovely thing to do with prawns. Again, stir fries, really lovely place to do prawns. Or if you've got lots of them, you can chop them. You can chop them up and put them in, do like a prawn burger, like a katsu prawn burger. That's a really nice thing to do as well.
Nice, like that. Yeah, really nice. Or like any kind of salads, like you could make like an Asian salad if you've got any rice noodles knocking around, like the glass noodles. Yeah. That's really nice. Like if they're already cooked, you can just like butterfly them in half, even if you like, and just really nice. Also, prawns go really well with chorizo or like any kind of hot, spicy cured sausage, with a can of chickpeas and a tin of tomatoes, and you've got yourself like a really lovely stew. Kind of like sort of smoky tomato and prawn stew. Really nice.
Answers one of our questions. Chickpeas that they can. What can I do?
Oh my God. Amazing. So many people have chickpeas, Barney.
If you go to our Instagram, you need to scroll down a bit. I think it was from 3 weeks ago. I did an ingredient challenge. The ingredient challenge was chickpeas, and I got lots of amazing feedback from this. And it was just the sort of thing I knock up. It's £1, but chickpeas are delicious in a curry. So really delicious in a curry. There's also, and your pronunciation of Italian dishes is much better than mine. Is it pasta e ceci?
Yeah, with the strips of pasta and the soupy type thing.
So soupy chickpea pasta, really filling £1 dish. Now, if you're cooking with chickpeas, top tip is to crush a few of them into the sauce. So you tip your chickpeas in, and then when you're cooking your sauce, whether it's a curry, whether it's a pasta dish, or whether it's a tagine, just crush a couple of them against the side of the pan, and then they just add to the texture and make it velvety. And also the chickpea juices, is it aquafaba? It's called aquafaba, isn't it? Yeah. Aquafaba can be used as like a vegan thickening agent or as a vegan meringue substitute. I know it sounds mad, but you have to try it. But you can use the juice, and the juice is also really lovely
I also heard recently that if you add the liquid from your chickpeas to your hummus, that's what makes it mega velvety.
Oh yeah.
It's like you're whipping, like you do when you do that vegan meringue, and it makes it like light and smooth and almost like moussey and delicious. So don't ever throw your liquid away from your can. So,
and you know what else is delicious? Is crushed chickpeas. It's hot like a mash. So crushed chickpeas with garlic. You can roast some garlic off and fry some up. Yeah, harissa. Or just I just do it like a hot hummus, but like a really kind of chunky hot hummus. Absolutely delicious with lamb. I
also do a Spanish stew that's really nice, where you whiz half the chickpeas and keep half whole, and you fry bread in garlic and oil, and then you add that in and whiz it, and it's so simple. Bit of like rosemary in there if you want, but it's like just unbelievable. It's like really kind of like poor man's stew, but it's just garlicky, chickpea, olive oily, delicious.
Brilliant.
And really good. So Greek style dishes for vegetarians.
Yeah.
I know what my favourite one is. I like a spanakopita. Like a
I love spanakopita. Yeah.
Spanakopita.
I love that.
Really easy. You can do it in the spiral shape if you want. We've got some recipes online for that, so do check those out. Also, vegetarian moussaka.
Yeah.
It's one of my favourites as well.
I think the actual name for it is horiatiki, which is Greek salad. I mean, that's vegetarian as long as your feta is vegetarian. But a bit like a niçoise salad, needs to be eaten in the midsummer or in the sunshine at least. But it's one of the best salads there is. I mean, I don't put cucumbers in mine. I keep it super simple. I just get the best tomatoes, feta, sliced red onion, lots and lots of parsley, good olive oil, and some oregano, some dried oregano, and then you marinate the feta first, and it is one of the most delicious salads, especially with like hot flatbread.
Oh.
Love that. Absolutely love that.
Do you put mint in yours, Barney?
I put parsley. You put parsley and mint. Yeah. But
some people fresh oregano in it, don't they?
Well, I use parsley or mint, like a bit more Middle Eastern than Greek. I use that as like a salad leaf in itself. So pick the leaves, very, very roughly chop them, and they become a big part of it. And then you did something with halloumi. You did something beautiful. I'm more Cypriot, I know, but you did something beautiful with halloumi, didn't you? You roasted it whole. I'm sure on your Instagram.
Oh yes, I did. I sort of like it's a sort of Georgie Hayden technique. And you just kind of cut a cross section in the halloumi. It's so easy. Whack it under the grill with loads of good olive oil on it, and then you finish it drizzled with honey and oregano. I put lemon thyme on mine because I didn't have any oregano. Had some thyme in the garden, and it's really simple. And you just have that with breads, and you could have that with the crushed chickpeas or something like that. I had sort of tomato white bean stew with it, but it sounds like kind of complicated, but it's so easy as well. It's like you're just cooking a whole halloumi. It's great. Somebody is asking.
Yes.
About freezing fresh yeast. Can you freeze fresh yeast?
You can freeze fresh yeast, yes, but it goes a bit weird when you defrost it. But then it goes a bit slimy, but it's still fine to use. But then just test a little bit of it by kind of by mixing it with some warm water and a little bit of sugar, and it should reactivate. But you can freeze fresh yeast. You can actually use it straight from frozen. You can just crumble it straight from frozen. I love this one. I have a question. Can you make crumble with plain flour? Yes, is the simple answer to that one. 100%. Thumbs up. Plain flour is the only flour you need for crumble. So you're all good to go. Hi, any ideas for family dinners that my 5-year-old will eat who won't eat meat or cheese? Hates the taste and smell. Meat, are you talking red meat? Because if you are, then chicken. Kids absolutely love chicken. Or, I mean, there's lots and lots of dishes that don't contain cheese. I would go with, sorry, what were you going to say?
I've just having sort of thinking. I think probably like kind of all like you could do like some rice dishes or some like fajitini based when you don't have cheese on that. Quite interactive. If you do some like crushed avocado with that as well, they could like build their own. If they're a fussy eater, always quite nice to get them involved. So anything like that, like tomato-y based dishes. Yeah, I know. And then I think you often go to tend towards go like creamy, easy and things, don't they? But it doesn't have to be that.
With fussy kids, it can also be textural sometimes. So maybe go with things that have got crunch as opposed to things that are soft and see how that goes. And that doesn't have to just be things with breadcrumbs. That can be crudité, which I know seems like the most easiest thing in the world. But if you haven't thought of it, just simply some raw carrot sticks and some hummus or something like that. But kids tend to love crunch. They like the sensation that it has when they bite into something. So try things with crunch and see how that goes.
Yeah.
How do I perk up cheese on toast? Oh, love this one. Right then. How do you perk up cheese on toast? I make like a Cheeps Rabbit. So a classic rabbit is made you have to make a roux, don't you? And then you add ale to it. It's quite a palaver for essentially what is cheese on toast. I did the equivalent the other day by just grating the cheese. I mixed in some mustard, I mixed in some Worcestershire sauce, and I mixed in some cayenne pepper, and I sort of clumped that together and put that on top of some bread and whacked that under the grill, and that was absolutely delicious. What would you do?
I actually like kind of like a mango chutney, kind of chili cheese toasty, kind of on toast. So just finely chopped red onion, green chili. Like if you've got a mixture of cheeses, it's always good to have like a bit of. I always put a bit of like hard grated cheddar in on any cheese on toast, mixed with strong hard grated mozzarella with like strong cheddar, because you get that pull and then you get that kind of strong taste. So yeah, kind of like an Indian vibe. You could put some toasted cumin seeds in it. I love that. Dollop of mango chutney on the side.
That'd be lovely. If you just want to keep it straight cheese, what I suggest you do is, rather than having it just on toast, do it as a toasty, but spread the outside with mayonnaise. Believe me, I know it sounds mad. Spread the outside of your toasty with mayonnaise and then fry it in a pan, and you will have the crispest, most golden, delicious, melty cheese toasty you ever had. You'd be like, oh, that's not meant to work, it's mayonnaise. But it really, really does work. It's the game changer when it comes to making cheese toasties. Lots of leftover roast pork. Right then, I mean, I would straight away, when I've got leftover roast pork, that goes into fried rice, or I very finely slice it and again put it through noodles, a bit like the Chinese do. But I tend to go ginger garlic chili with leftover roast pork, or it's delicious in a sandwich. You can sort of cook it and do it like a bit like a roast pork bat, especially if you've got some crackling. Sort of reheat it and do it as a pulled pork bun. You can cover it with barbecue sauce as well, couldn't you? That'd be nice.
Yeah, I do a sort of like, I always tend to lean towards like Central American flavours, but I think I would just like finely chop it and put it in like a sort of like smoky black bean sauce.
Yeah.
That's always really nice with rice. You could do like a sort of like a Mexican rice with corn, charred corn, and then you've got like a porky kind of stewy thing. That's really nice.
Yeah. What can I do with chestnut?
What else?
Chestnut rice. Leftover rice. I have an egg. No, what's this? Leftover rice. I have egg and cooked cow. Well, you've got cow fried rice. Yeah. I think you've answered your own recipe. You've made your own recipe there. It sounds delicious. Yeah. So 2 ways of dealing with that. When you're doing egg fried rice, you have two options. You can either have the egg sort of tiny scrambly bits through it, if some people like. That's one way of doing it. Or you can have strips of omelette. Now, there's 2 ways to do it. There's no right way or wrong way. There's just 2 ways of doing it. One way for the omelette, you make an omelette in the pan first. You take the omelette out of the pan, fry your rice, shred the omelette. That's how you get the long threads of rice. Long threads of egg, sorry. And then for boiled egg through the rice, you fry your rice, push the rice to one side, but you keep it in the pan, crack your egg in, and then just basically scramble it really hard in the pan, and then reintroduce your rice back into the eggs. There's 2 ways of doing it. Everyone has a preference. We quite like strips of omelette, but there's no right way or wrong way. Ideas for leftover roast beef. Well, we had this the other day. Apart from the most delicious sandwich in the world, we said treat it like tagliata. So delicious, finely slice it and serve it with some sort of punchy leaf like rocket, or with watercress. We add peppery leaf, some shaved parmesan, some olive oil, some lemon juice. You had some really nice ideas as well. As we said, classic shepherd's pies, mate, not shepherd's, cottage pie.
Yeah.
Classic cottage pies. Yeah.
Almost like I was saying the other day, I don't really love tuna. I like tinned tuna, so I sometimes do like a sort of like almost like a niçoise. Like it goes really well with like a punchy dressing, and then the roast beef, and then a soft boiled egg and black olives. It's quite nice. It's kind of delicious. So
how do I get a good rise on the quiche? Well, you know what? If you like your quiche all puffed up like a souffle, then you need to bake it a bit higher. But probably the reason why you're not getting it is because quiches aren't meant to rise that much. But if that's something you're looking for, then I would say up your oven by 10-15 degrees, and then you'll get it puffy. But puffy tends to overcook the mixture a bit and split it. But if that's what you're after, that's what you need to do. There is another way of doing it. So you do like a souffle quiche, where you use the yolks to thicken it, then whisk the whites, and then stir the whites through the mixture, and that you get a real souffle on your quiche. But I prefer my quiche sort of cooked gently, so you get a perfect slice, as opposed to something that's puffed up and then sort of deflated.
Yeah, I agree. I think it can go a little bit overcooked if you try and puff it up. And although it's quite nice to have that quite golden top, and I do get that, especially if you're doing like a cheese and onion quiche or a quiche Lorraine, and you've got the cheese, it is nice to have that kind of crispiness on top. But yeah, we'll kind of overcook the mixture a bit, won't it? But
ideas for leftover Yorkshire puddings, please. Right, your leftover Yorkshire puddings can be reflated by just putting them in a hot oven for a few minutes. They puff back up. You can put some sausages on top, and then have them like a sort of deconstructed toad in the hole. But Yorkshire puddings are also delicious eaten as puddings. But you're basically dealing with pancake batter, aren't you? So historically, Yorkshire puddings would have also been eaten as a dessert, hence the name pudding. So really lovely with some maple syrup or golden syrup or ice cream. You've basically got a Dutch baby. A Dutch baby is like a sort of Yorkshire pudding. So unless you've really seasoned it heavily with, yeah, unless you've seasoned it really heavily with salt and pepper, why not try it for dessert? Any recipes for gooey cookies? Now I've got this really great idea, Esther. It's using rye flour.
Oh, Barney, where did you get that great idea for your
I think,
recipe?
I
You
don't
want
know,
to tell everyone now that you've decided to bring it up on
a genius food writer told me about it. So
Yes.
I had to do a recipe for next level chocolate chip cookies, and it was Esther's tip of adding rye flour, which made them really chewy. So it's chewy, not gooey, and you're asking for gooey. Gooey, I would say, cook them from frozen or cook the mixture from really, really cold, and that way they're going to stay soft in the middle. So chewy, our baking queen Liberty has said, melt your butter. That's a really nice way of doing it. Melted butter makes for a really chewy, sort of fudgy cookie. And then if you want them gooey, use lots and lots of chocolate and just slightly undercook them.
I want to eat those cookies now.
So do I.
Love those.
Yeah.
So someone's saying they've got some chicken thighs tonight that are skinless and boneless.
Yeah.
Have we got any ideas for a tray bake?
Okay. So skinless and boneless. I would tend to do them in a sauce more than, because they're not on the bone, because they haven't got skin. Then you don't really want to do them just dry heat, because the skin is not going to crisp up and there's no bone for them to cling to. But I mean, as another wonderful thing that you've enlightened me with, which I never really knew existed before we met, was chicken tinga. And that's something you do all the time. It's like a Mexican chicken stew, isn't it? And that's lovely with chicken thighs. So talk us through that. What's chicken tinga?
Yeah, it's really nice. You just kind of caramelize some onions and then you add tomatoes and kind of almost like braise the chicken in like a smoky tomato and chipotle sauce. And then you just remove the chicken thighs just when they're cooked. They just need to almost be kind of like shreddable. Shred them and pop them back into the sauce. And then you can use that in tacos. You can pile it on nachos, and you could have it with rice. So it's really flexible, which is nice.
And then we had a question before which didn't answer. Any good simple chicken marinade for the oven? Right, I'm going to tell you the easiest chicken marinade that you have all these ingredients, you won't even realise just how good it is. People don't appreciate just the heat you get from black pepper. They think of black pepper as a condiment, not as a spice, and it is a spice. And if you toast and crush lots and lots of black pepper, which you'll have anyway, black peppercorns, and crush them with lots of garlic, and then use something acidic, be it lemon juice, lime juice, or vinegar. Just those three ingredients rubbed over a chicken, or someone else has put, what's good for pork tenderloin, or pork tenderloin, and then you get this really fiery garlic kind of marinade. And people think you've used chili, and you haven't used chili. All you've used is the heat from the black pepper. And those are three ingredients people should have: black peppercorns, garlic, and vinegar, or lemon juice.
Oh,
please share the chestnut idea. Did we say the chestnut idea? What's the chestnut idea?
I've got some chestnuts actually. I think someone was asking if we had any recipes for chestnuts. Knocking around. I think you can make a really nice stuffing. I know that people think of chestnuts as being like particularly seasonal to Christmas, but I mean, I've got some backpacked ones in the cupboard, and I was having kind of the same conversation with myself. And maybe I'll stuff my chicken with it and do like kind of quite a like breadcrumby stuffing. I think that would still be quite nice. I mean, it is quite wintry. But I still think it would be really lovely. What would you do, Barney, with those?
They're also really nice, sweet. So you can puree them, sweeten the puree, and then stir them for a cheesecake. So you can make like a chestnut and salted caramel cheesecake. But if you've got lots of them, sort of. I don't think that the dessert Mont Blanc doesn't do that well online, but it'd be like a Mont Blanc cheesecake. That'd be really, really nice. They are delicious like that, or they're really lovely with bacon and cabbage. I mean, we think of them as Brussels sprouts, but spring cabbage is out at the moment. Just really lovely with any form of greens.
Also, if you make a really nice sweetened chestnut puree, it's almost like having a nut butter in the cupboard.
Yeah.
So you make that and you can spread it on like crepes and stuff. That's quite a French way of eating it, but I love that.
Okay, Laura, I'm really struggling with Yorkshires at the moment. I've used flour, eggs and milk and oil. And the oil is always red hot, but they come out awful. Any tricks? The trick is to get our recipe. I'm really sorry, but it's foolproof and it absolutely works. You go to bbcgoodfood.com, you go to the recipe that's, I think it's got like 700 5-star ratings. Honestly, every Sunday we get inundated by people showing us these pictures of these Yorkshire puddings that have hit the roof of their ovens. They really, really do work. They're based on volume as opposed to weight. It's the same volume of those 3 ingredients. It's the same volume of milk, eggs, and flour. You whisk the 3 things together. You get some hot oil. You put it in a pan, and they just puff up. Your oven does need to be hot as well.
Yeah.
So please, if you are using the BBC Good Food recipe, then let us know and we'll see what we can do, because as far as I know, those recipes we've never had a complaint about them. So Laura, for your Yorkshire puddings, please refer to our recipe, because we know hand on heart that that's foolproof. What can I make with fine cornmeal? But no, normal flour. You can make cornbread, you can make polenta. You can make...
You could do like a cornbread muffin, like a sort of...
Cornbread muffins, they're delicious.
Which are really nice. You could do those also, like everyone obviously thinks of cornbread as being savoury, but sometimes they do like a sort of a 1-pan cornbread that's sweet with blueberries in it.
Oh, delicious.
That's really nice.
And you can supplement it for like a polenta and orange cake, couldn't you? You could do like that sort of thing. That'd be really nice.
Nice.
And is it farinata?
Sort of like... Yeah, you could kind of make it like a polenta almost.
Yeah.
That's also very nice. Just pop some butter and some parmesan through at the end. That's lovely.
Yeah. You've gone. You need to come back to me, Esther. You've gone all robotic. There we go.
Anything?
3 ways to use up my glut of cheddar in the fridge. I'm tired of making macaroni, cheese, and cheese on toast. Go. Right, quick. Cheddar. What would you do? What would you...
Okay, right. 3 ways with cheddar. Make a... What are they saying? Tired of macaroni cheese.
That's a hard one, isn't it?
What about doing like cheese scones? Like really nice cheesy scones.
Cauliflower cheese.
Cauliflower cheese, but maybe they want to stay away from cheese sauce if they're...
Cheese souffle.
Cheese souffle.
Really
bake it into soda bread, soda bread.
Make a fondue.
What else would you put cheese on? Do like I was gonna say cheese on toast, but you said you don't want any more cheese on toast.
Quesadilla.
Yes, that's such a good way of using it up.
Yeah.
Cheese tart. Cheese and onion tart.
I hope we've inspired you. Lots of ways of using up your cheddar. Oh, here's another way. Sorry, 3 ways to use it. A serious answer. 3 ways to use glut of my cheddar. Cheddar freezes, so do not feel that you have to use it up now. This is the serious answer. Cut it into blocks. Wrap it in something, preferably beeswax, but whatever you can, reusable plastic. Put it in and mark what it is. Or grate it. Yeah, grate it and freeze it into reusable bags, and then you can use it straight from frozen. But there's no need to use it all up. If you've got a glut, you lucky thing, you can freeze it.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I love cheese. Very jealous. Right, what else have we got going on here?
Aubergine Parmigiana, yes, good question. Pasta al forno, definitely.
Yeah, I love aubergine Parmigiana.
Oh, so do I.
And my faves. Right, what else have we got? More questions coming in. What are you cooking today, Barney?
What am I cooking? I'm developing sausage rolls.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a puff pastry. I want to make a flaky pastry without being puff pastry. They're coming soon to a good food magazine near you. And what else am I doing today? I don't know what's for dinner, which is quite rare. Because one thing I have been found about lockdown is that I've been meal planning more than I've ever done. So I've used the time to marinate, to kind of know what I'm doing, that sort of thing. But listen, we've got 1 minute left. Guys, I always like sending a shout out. These things don't just happen. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, and we're on Instagram all at once. And that is thanks to some very clever people behind the scenes. So massive round of applause, please, for Hetty, For Nadia and for Laura, thank you very much. And remember, BBC Good Food Together is our Facebook group. Search for it or find it on the groups tag. Tag your pictures on Instagram, stay at home and get cooking. And our new podcast series, BBC Good Food Essential Recipes, is out now. There's a new recipe every Wednesday. We're here every weekday at 12:30. Doing this, so if you hashtag your questions, ask BBC Good Food, we'll do our best to answer them, and then we are bringing you an instructional but entertaining, edutaining video every day of the week from Monday right through to Thursday. So please follow us. We're the only food brand, magazine, website you need during all this madness. Thank you ever so much for watching. Esther, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much. Bye.